This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Hello and welcome to Pulse of Africa News. I am Samia Mohammed with the news. We bring you the latest updates from around the globe. Our top stories. The victory of Adwa inspires global anti-colonial movements. MOU signed to establish Authority of Djibouti, Ethiopia, South Sudan, Uganda corridor. US and Russian diplomats meet in Istanbul for second round of talks. India and EU to push for a trade deal this year, says von der Leyen. Now, the news in detail. Former African Union Chairperson Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma stated the historical significance of the victory of Adwa, inspiring Black people across the globe to rise up for anti-colonial movements. The 129th Adwa Victory Day will be celebrated in the coming Sunday colorfully under the theme Adwa Victory of the Black People. The day marks the iconic 1896 victory when Ethiopian forces triumphed over Italian colonial forces, securing their sovereignty and inspiring global anti-colonial movements. Speaking to Pulse of Africa, former African Union Chairperson Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma praised Ethiopia for maintaining its uncolonized status, making it a symbol of African resilience and independence. Let me say first, before I get to Adwa, Ethiopia itself is a bright star in our continent in that it was never colonized. That was our capital is here, because this is the part of our continent that was never colonized, she stated. The Battle of Adwa played a big role in this regard, she said, describing the victory as a great milestone in preserving Ethiopian independence and inspiring anti-colonial movements across the continent and beyond. Still on the victory of Adwa. The victory of Adwa altered the belief prevailed during the colonial era that Africa's fate was destined to be under European colonization. Author of the Battle of Adwa, African Victory in the Age of Empire, Professor Raymond Jonas underscored. Professor Raymond Jonas emphasized that the Adwa victory altered the prevailing notion during the colonial period that Africa was fated to succumb to European colonization. Professor Jonas, who is currently serving as a distinguished professor of history at the University of Washington, told the Pulse of Africa that the triumph at Adwa stands as a powerful testament to the necessity of setting aside differences for a common cause. According to Professor Jonas, a key factor contributing to Ethiopia's success was the exemplary leadership demonstrated by King Minilik II and Empress Taitu. In his comprehensive and detailed book, The Battle of Adwa, African Victory in the Age of Empire, Professor Jonas meticulously elaborates on the historical significance of the Adwa victory. To the regional corridor. A memorandum of understanding has been signed to establish the Djibouti's Ethiopia, South Sudan, Uganda Corridor Authority. The memorandum of understanding is signed following a high-level ministerial meeting held over the past few days. This MOU aims to enhance regional integration by establishing a land corridor that connects the participating countries, promoting cooperation and economic growth. The signing of this MOU marks a significant milestone in fostering stronger ties, facilitating trade and infrastructure development in the region. Moving to Southern African countries. Southern African countries must leverage technology to unlock the region's digital potential and boost inter-regional trade, said Zimbabwean Minister of Transport and Infrastructural Development, Felix Mona. Speaking at the Southern African Development Community high-level ministerial roundtable dialogue on infrastructure in Harare, Mona highlighted the critical role that energy and information and communication technology play in driving economic development. Digital infrastructure is as vital as physical infrastructure in today's economy, Mona stated. He emphasized the need for expanded broadband and enhanced regional ICT connectivity to foster better trade, communication, and service delivery across the region. According to Mona, strengthening internet access, investing in fiber optic networks, and improving mobile connectivity are essential steps towards driving economic transformation and ensuring digital inclusion for all Southern Africans. Now, to US-Russian ties. Diplomats of Russia and the United States are meeting in Istanbul to discuss the operation of their respective embassies in Moscow and Washington. This second-round meeting follows Russia-US talks in Saudi Arabia last week that marked an extraordinary shift in US foreign policy under President Donald Trump and a clear departure from US-led efforts to isolate Russia over its war in Ukraine. At the talks, Moscow and Washington agreed to start working towards ending the war and improving their diplomatic and economic ties. This includes restoring the staffing at embassies, which have been hard hit in recent years by mutual expulsion of many diplomats and other restrictions. The meetings that are taking place are built up for Leaders Summit. The last time the leaders of Russia and US came face-to-face was in 2019 Osaka G20 Summit. Now to the Middle East. Jordan's King Abdullah and Syria's interim President Ahmed al-Shara agreed to work together to secure their common border against arms and drug trafficking, officials said. At the meeting with Shara in Amman, the Jordanian monarch also condemned Israel's strike late on Tuesday on southern Damascus and in southern Syria near the Jordan border, the latest in series of Israeli attacks on Syrian military targets. The leaders agreed the coordination was crucial for border security and for curbing arms and drug smuggling. The visit is the new interim leader's third foreign trip along with Saudi Arabia and Turkey since he came to power. Jordan, which hosted the first international conference on Syria, welcomed the outcome of landmark National Dialogue Conference held at the Presidential Palace in Damascus on Tuesday. The dialogue conference is an important step towards rebuilding Syria to attain the aspiration of the Syrian people. Jordanian officials have said that they were ready to help Syria rebuild and promised to help it ease its acute power shortages by supplying it with electricity and gas.
Only on the Pulse of Africa channel, all the time. Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.
Business news. China and Botswana signed an agreement on economic and technical cooperation between the two governments in Gaborone, the capital of the Southern African country. Speaking at the signing ceremony, Chinese ambassador to Botswana, Fan Yong, said China and Botswana have long enjoyed a strong friendship, yielding fruitful results in practical cooperation. With the implementation of the agreement and other outcomes of the 2024 Beijing Summit of the Forum on China-African Cooperation, cooperation between the two countries in various fields will be further deepened. Botswana Vice President and Minister of Finance, Ndaba Galoze, praised China's remarkable achievements and expressed gratitude for China's continuous support to Botswana, saying he hopes cooperation with China will contribute to Botswana's economic growth and the well-being of its people. Finally, a free trade agreement between the EU and India would be the largest deal of its kind anywhere in the world, and both sides are looking at firming it up by this year. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said. In an address at Think Tank, the top leader of the 27-nation bloc also said that the EU is exploring a future security and defense pact with India in the line with its partnership with Japan and South Korea. Von der Leyen's comments came ahead of her wide-ranging talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This world is fraught with danger, but I believe this modern version of great power competition is an opportunity for Europe and India to reimagine their partnership, she said. On the free trade agreement, von der Leyen says she has a full commitment for it. A free trade agreement between the EU and India would be the largest deal of this kind anywhere in the world. I am well aware it will not be easy, she added. Before we wind up, let's get you updated on the global commodity prices. That's all for today. Thank you for watching Pulse of Africa.
This is Pulse of Africa, the face of Ethiopia, the voice of Africa.